Hello everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha and today I'm going to be doing a very highly requested vlog. Guess what I'm going to be reading? Well, I guess you can't really guess because it's in the thumbnail, but around this time last year, was doing an ACOTAR reading vlog. It was my first venture with Sarah J. Maas, and I read all of the books except for the final one, and it's so bittersweet for me because I loved the series so much for as far as I got in it, but I am learning that I really just don't enjoy reading smut. So I know that that's going to be in some things that I read every now and then, but I did really enjoy the storytelling and the romanticy elements and how Sarah J. Maas writes. So I knew that I wanted to give Throne of Glass a try. So I am going to be doing a reading vlog while I am reading Throne of Glass to share with you all my experience, my thoughts, and all of the things. I have no idea if there's going to be anything in this vlog other than me just chatting about my thoughts and feelings, but I thought I would go ahead and take you along with me. So I'm going to be starting this tonight. It is Sunday and I have reading sprints tonight with Summer and Elise over on my channel, and me and Elise are actually buddy reading this. I think she's already read it before and this is a reread for her, at least for the first one. I don't think she's completed the whole series, but I'm very excited. I also, I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I did get a box at one point in time that had some Taylor Swift merch. I do like some of her stuff, but I'm just not like a Swiftie, I guess. But this is probably gonna look like I am. I felt like this Reputation bookmark was perfect for the main character in this book because of based on things I've heard. So hopefully that checks out, and that's going to be my bookmark while I read this. But I will check back in after I get started with reading sprints and after I get started in the book and give you guys my initial thoughts. It is the next day and I'm finally going back to work after a week off for snow. But I wanted to update you all this morning just to let you know I only got about 50 pages into Throne of Glass last night, and I am liking it okay so far. I don't really have any thoughts though. I wouldn't say I'm loving it or oh, I'm gonna love this book. I don't really know because 50 pages doesn't tell me much. I'm still kind of being introduced to the world and introduced to the characters. I do like the kind of snarkiness of Selena with the what are the characters' names? Dorian and Kale. I like her snarkiness with them because obviously she's don't mess with me, and so yeah, I like that. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of thoughts on anything, so I'm just gonna keep reading and I'll update y'all as I have thoughts. I probably will not be able to read again until this evening, so Jessie's doing reading sprints on her channel, so I'll probably get on there and read some more Throne of Glass, and then I will update you all then. You're getting me in the same sweatshirt I was in last night because it's comfy and I feel like it. But I am more pages in. And I just wanted to say that I love how Selena is she can hold her own, but she's still it's nice to have a man, be there too. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Okay, page 81 of this book. She is having a conversation with Kale, and he was just I'm not going to tell all the context because I don't want you to know, spoilers. Not that this is really a spoiler, but he said, "You don't need me to rescue you." And she goes, "It still would have been nice." He's like, "You can fight your own battles and all that stuff." But I'm but she's so right though. She's acknowledging yeah, I don't need you to rescue me, but it still would be nice. And I just love that because she's like, yeah, I can hold my own. Like, I got this. But it's still nice for a man to just, like, help out, or, like, just kind of do you a favor every now and then. I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying, though? Like, I don't know. There's just something about that I like because it's not like she needs him. But she just chooses, well, not that they're not together, but do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I do appreciate that. So, anyways, still not really much into the book. Still really don't have that many thoughts, but I just wanted to share that little piece of nugget that I got out of it. It is a rainy Tuesday, and all I want to be doing is be snuggled up in my bed with my book, but I have to go to work, and that's okay. That's okay, because I had a week off last week, and it was great, and it's just time to go back, and that's fine. And it is busy at work right now. But, I enjoy my job. I'm blessed to be here. So, I'm going back to work today. I mean, technically, I went back yesterday. But anyways, I'm on my way to work, but I wanted to give a quick update on Throne of Glass. So, I am on chapter 20, I think. 100 and some odd pages in, 120 something, I think, pages in. And I'm feeling kind of mid about it, which I've heard is like what most maybe people think about the first book. Most people say the first couple books aren't great and then it gets better after that, like it's all uphill. But I'm feeling kind of similarly with this one as I did, not the same, but similar as I did when I read The Cruel Prince. And my thoughts on The Cruel Prince were, that one was definitely more dense, but I just didn't ever feel immersed in the world enough, and I didn't feel like I got to know characters. Like, I just wasn't there. And I'm kind of feeling like that about Throne of Glass. Like, I know what's going on for the most part. There's always aspects of, like, the politics that I don't really catch on to until later on, or never, because that's just not the type of reader that I am. Like, I don't get invested in, like, the war and politics all the time. So, like, I kind of know where I'm at. And I don't know, but like I don't feel immersed in the story. And I also don't feel like I know the characters, but I don't like know the characters. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, I want this to be as good as like my feelings with ACOTAR, but I just know, like, I feel like I already know ACOTAR is going to be the better series for me. And that's okay, because I think I just like romantasy better than, not that this isn't going to have romance in it, but I know that ACOTAR is more her romantasy series. So, also, the two male characters right now, Dorian and Kale, I feel like they have the same voice, and I can't really distinguish them very well. So, like, if I get in a daze, or if I'm, like, not paying attention for 2 seconds, I might not know who she's talking about, or talking to in the book. Because I feel like their voices are the same. And also the audio book, I feel like their voices are the same. So, I don't know. I can't really always distinguish. Like, I know their characters. Like, I know a little bit of a difference between them. But I feel like they're not really fleshed out. And maybe that's something that she got. I know this is like, I think this was her debut, right? Throne of Glass was Sarah J. Maas's debut. And so it makes sense that this would be like her first book. And then her books would only go up from here. So if that's the case, I can definitely tell. But I am hopeful that later on in the series I will get more into it. I'm not super hopeful for this book. My predictions right now with feeling mid is that it's going to be around a 3. I'm trying to be more honest with my ratings this year. And so that means I'm not always going to rate on literary merit or what I feel like a book deserves. I'm going to rate how I feel. Like, I'm going to rate what Keisha's rating is of a book. Because readers read reviews to know how other readers feel. Like, we're the reviews are for each other, you know what I mean? And like, it's just better for me to review it the way that I feel about it, because somebody else might feel the same way, you know? So, or somebody else might need to know, and maybe they don't. But for me, I just want to be more honest with my ratings this year. And so I think, like, I just need to remind myself that a 3-star means a book is good. And I really want to reserve my 4 and 5-star ratings for those books. Like, the 4 stars would be like the amazing books, the above average books. I really enjoyed this book. And then the 5 stars are going to be like my favorite books, or the books that were perfect. They were great. I love this so much. Like, and I really want to reserve those for that. So if I'm ever not feeling completely one of those 2 things, I just don't, like, I'm going to rate it a 3 or a 3.5, or like, I'm going to do half stars. I'm thankful that Storygraph allows that. I wish that Goodreads would get on that, because I don't want like the quarter stars or anything like that, but I like the half stars, because for me, when I read The Cruel Prince, I rated it a 2.5, and that very perfectly fits how I feel about it, because I feel like it was just between good and okay for me. I couldn't just give it like a good, because there were so many parts of it where I'm like, it wasn't good for me. There were good parts. There were a lot of parts that I felt like it was just slow and it was just okay. So having a mid was good for me. So I don't know, who knows what I'm going to end up rating third of class, but I wanted to give an update on my thoughts, and hopefully y'all can hear me through all of this rain. Sorry, it's not the perfect like audio probably or video. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts so far, and once I have like more fleshed out thoughts, I'll check in again. I feel like it's harder for me to check in now because I don't have as much to say about the book, like in depth. So I think I could honestly finish the book and then come back and share my thoughts, but I'm trying to like give you the full experience. I just think this is not like a Keisha book, and this isn't a book that I'm gonna like have a lot to say about, but we'll see. Maybe it'll get better from here. It's always interesting because like my Avatar vlog, I rewatched it before this one, and or before I started filming this one, and I think it's really interesting how I started out like not knowing with that one, and then by the end I was just like die hard. So maybe that'll happen here, maybe it won't, but you have to stick around to see. It is the next day, and I have a little bit more of an update today, so I guess I'll tell you kind of how I'm feeling at this point. I am over the halfway point through the book, and I do feel like hopefully the second half is going to pick up a little bit more for me than the first half, because I was honestly feeling very meh about the first half, which I'm sure you could probably tell. But I think that chapter 25 is what really got me interested. And I know that there's like been this mystery going on already with all these different competitors. You know, somebody's basically, well, they're not basically massacring. There would be more deaths, but they're somebody's killing people, you know? And so, like, I've been kind of intrigued by that, but that's been such a side part. And, you know, I started this book thinking, like, you know, I may not really love the whole thing of, like, an assassin being the main character and there being, like, a competition. That may not be my vibe, but at least it'll be interesting. Well, it hasn't been interesting for a half of the book. Like, it's like, oh, let's shoot a bow and arrow. Oh, let's climb this building. Like, that's not interesting. That's not what I want to read in a fantasy book. So, like, I'm sorry if you enjoy that part, but I feel like maybe not the majority of people, but a lot of people have told me the first two books are not the best and that they get better from here. So I'm really banking on you people who are telling me this. I'm just saying. But the second half of the book did get a little bit more interesting once I reached chapter 25, where I'll just say, like, for lack of spoilers, I don't want to share spoilers. I will just say it's the part where Selena goes to this place that she didn't know was there. That part where, like, she encounters somebody. That made it more interesting for me, I guess, because it made it a little bit more fantasy. It made it a little bit more like, oh, there's going to be something epic that happens, you know, at this point, or something. At some point, something epic is going to happen. Because right now, it's just been, like, really bland and boring. I have decided that there is a little bit of a distinguishing voice between Dorian and Kale, and I also have decided that I'm Team Kale. I do like Dorian. There's, like, nothing wrong with him, but, like, I just like the banter between Selena and Kale a lot better. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So I am enjoying the book a little bit more. I wouldn't say, like, I'm really liking it or loving it yet, but it is, you know, we're moving on up. It's an uphill trajectory from here. So hopefully it stays that way, but I felt like that was good enough to update. I also wanted to share some theories. I don't really have any, but I was like, oh, I might as well just say who I think maybe could be murdering all these people. So I have a theory. I don't want this theory to be right, but I've thought that maybe Selena is doing it because, like, maybe she sleepwalks and doesn't know it or something, and she's doing it. But I'm like, no, it can't be her. Like, if it is her, I'm not gonna like that, because, like, I gotta root for this girl, and even if she does it absentmindedly, I gotta root for this girl. So I thought it might be her. Then I thought it might be to say who these people are if you haven't read the book, but I thought it might be Knox. I thought it also might be Nehemia, because, like, you know, you just never know. Like, some people are going to act good and you just don't know. So I thought it might be one of them. I think it also has the potential. I mean, it could really be anybody. That's what I'm basically saying. But I thought maybe it could be Prince Dorian or the King. You know, I don't know. I have no idea. But those are my theories. But my main theory is like one of those first few. But I don't know. I don't really know. But I just thought I'd share that that's where I'm at with who I think is doing all this gruesome, murderous stuff. But anyway, I think that's it. I will check in again. I'm going to try to read a lot tonight. I don't have any plans tonight. So, I mean, not that I have had plans the last 2 nights other than to read this book, but I'm really going to try to focus and read more, because I have less than 200 pages left, but just less than 200 pages left of the book. I don't think I realistically could finish it tonight, but, you know, hopefully at least I'll be able to finish it by tomorrow and give you guys final thoughts and share this vlog pretty soon. So I don't think this is going to be like the most interesting thing, but if you're interested on my thoughts on the book, it'll be interesting, I guess. So, and then I may read Crown of Midnight in February, depending on how this one ends. Otherwise, I may put it off a little bit, but we'll see how quick I want to get through it. But I'm just going to try not to burn myself out, because there are some other fantasy books that I want to read. There are some books I'm interested in reading in February particularly. So, yeah, but I just wanted to give an update, and I'll check in when I have another. Excuse the poor lighting. I want to retract my previous statement about my like theories on who this murderer person is, because I just like got to this part about like Caltaine, and honestly I feel like that the author has done a really good job of making me forget about her, and I think it's her now, because she's talking about like having these thoughts of being not enough, not enough, not enough. Even in her sleep, the pain seeped in, warping her dreams into nightmares so vivid she couldn't remember where she was when she awoke. So now I think it's her. On page 220, that's my guess. Okay. So I'm not going to tell, I guess, at the end if I got it right or not, because that would be spoilery. Unless, maybe I could put a spoilery thing up on the screen. But anyways, I'm going to keep reading. I'd really love to finish this book tonight. I don't know if I will or not. I've got like somewhere less than 200 pages left, but we'll see. I just wanted to update that because I just got to that part and I was like, I need to put this in the vlog. I'm invested in this love triangle. And I don't like, I was like Team Kale, and I still kind of am. But I also really like Dorian. Like, they're both good guys right now. They seem like it. I mean, I don't know. I don't really trust her after ACOTAR. But, like, I don't like this. I'm like... Because, like, in ACOTAR, I started out loving one and hating another and then flip-flopping. And this one, I love both of them. I don't like this. Like, I feel for both. And I'm like, ugh, I don't know. So, like, that's where my investment lies in this, is definitely, I like my romantasy. That's what I want, more than the fantasy, more than the, like, just fantasy stuff. So, I need to know, like, when y'all read Throne of Glass, like, at the very beginning, whose side were you on, or whose team were you on? Team Kale or Team Dorian? I need to know. Because, like, I've been, like, kind of more Team Kale, but then the more time I spend with Dorian, I'm like, he's good too. I don't know. I'm conflicted. Okay, I got just a little bit teary-eyed at a friendship in this book, because I really like this friendship. I really like it, and some stuff just happened, and it was good. It kind of went by too quick, and I'm wondering what's going to happen in the last, like, 80-ish pages. But this is what I wanted. This is good. So maybe the next books will be better. I love how, like, the trajectory of these go. I'm like, I don't like this book. And now I'm like, do I like this book? I don't know. Ugh. I just wish I could tell you what I read. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll just put spoilers. I don't know. I guess I won't put spoilers. No, I'll put spoilers because you don't know if you can trust people or not. So mine are spoilers.
I love Selena and Nehemiah's friendship. Like, I just love it. I just love it. And the things that have been said, and I feel like this quote has been put out there, but like, names are not important. It's what lies inside of you that matters. I love it. I love it. And then there was like some more stuff, but like, I can't tell you. But then it's like, this was unconditional love. Friends like this did not exist. Why was she so fortunate to have found one? And I'm just like, that just looks so good. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. I really need to go to bed. But like now I'm like, am I going to go to bed or am I going to finish this? I have no idea.
I finished Throne of Glass. And I have sat on this a couple of days, so you guys are not going to get like initial reactions, but I wanted to go ahead and wrap up the vlog and tell you my thoughts on the book. So, as you remember from the beginning of the video, I wasn't really vibing with the first half of this book. I honestly just felt like it was really slow. There wasn't a lot going on. I wasn't really invested in the story or in the characters, but I wanted to keep pushing through because I'd heard that a lot of people said that the first book isn't the best book. It was her first book that she ever published and she was a teenager. And so I was like, okay, let me just get through this one and then maybe it'll get better from there. So I kept reading and then I ended up really enjoying the second half of the book. So the first half of the book was like a 2-star feeling for me. The second half of the book, okay, first of all, Kale laying on the line. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say. My whole heart. I do still like Dorian, but like Kale might have just like pushed a little bit. So I really liked that part. There's also a part that I'm not gonna say in detail about here, but there was a part that happened towards the end that just really reminded me of like spiritual warfare and like how in our world, like what we face as Christians every day, me being a Christian from my perspective, what we face, we don't really see, the spiritual side of it sometimes. We just see what we're going through in our day-to-day lives. But every now and then we might catch a glimpse of what's going on the other side. We might catch a glimpse of the spiritual warfare that's happening. I'm not going into detail for specific reasons, but I just feel like there was a part in the story that really reminded me of that and reminded me how sometimes it just feels like we're being attacked from all ends and we can't seem to defeat this thing. And then all of a sudden, sometimes God has to step in and be the strength in our weakness and help us and heal us and do all of these wonderful things that he does in order to help us get through these times. And I felt like there was a part in the story that reminded me of that, and I absolutely loved that. Also, I am so obsessed with one of the friendships in this book, and I'm not going to say any spoilers with that either because obviously, like, I didn't want to say, like, regardless of like what happens, and I'm saying this specifically because I had said earlier in the vlog that this person could or could not be one of my potential suspects for things that are happening. So just so you know, like, I'm not going to give spoilers or anything. Regardless of what does or does not happen, I still really like the friendship in this book. So see, I'm still telling you that. So it could go either way, but I'm still telling you because I'm really trying not to be spoilery. I really like the friendship in this book, and I promise I'm not being spoilery. I'm just letting you know. But I love that, and I don't know, like the second half of this book just felt like a different book. I felt like I was reading 2 different books. So the second half, I'd probably give a 4-star. And I have sat on this, and I kept thinking, okay, I was looking at all the books I've read this month. I was looking at how I was rating them. I'm trying to be true to my rating. And I really felt like I was just going to give this a 3.5 star. But then I looked at another book that I read this month that I gave 4 stars. And I'm like, but honestly, like the same thing happened in both. Like I started out just not really knowing, and then it just got better and better and better. So I decided to give this book a 4 stars. So I feel like that is a deserving rating for this book. And I am going to continue on in the series. I did go ahead and order Crown of Midnight, so I'm going to be reading that one in February. And yeah, so like, do I like this as much as ACOTAR so far? No. I do hate, which I've mentioned, that ACOTAR has so much smut, because I feel like I can't fully enjoy the story because of the amount that's there. I'm like, can we just have the story without all that. Like, is it really necessary that much? I don't think so. But this, I think, is supposed to be a lot more tame than ACOTAR, and so I'm hoping that I'll really enjoy this one. Will I enjoy it more than ACOTAR, though? I don't know. We shall see. I will go ahead and let you guys know I don't anticipate vlogging any more of the books in the series. There are 8, and that is a big commitment, and I also just don't feel like I'm in the mood to vlog this series. I just want to enjoy it as I read through it and not worry about having to film all my reactions. And while I enjoyed filming my ACOTAR reading experience with you all last year, I just don't feel like that same creative energy for doing the same type of thing this year. So I'm sorry if you wanted me to continue, but I will continue to share my thoughts over on Instagram and in my wrap-ups as I go through the series. But if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave like a knife emoji down below, because I don't think there's a sword emoji. I don't know. Just like a dagger, knife, sword, something. Chops. I don't know. But yeah, just leave something like that if you made it this far in the video. I hope you enjoyed just like my random ramblings and thoughts on Throne of Glass. This was my first experience with this book. Obviously, I wanted to share that with y'all because it's kind of a big deal in the community. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.